Sick. Sick as a fucking dog. Sick. Oh. Let that sink in. Oh, shower of bastards. When do we get a break? When do we get a break? Just asking for one fucking break, and that was it today. Fucking sick. Oh, God. It's a tough one. But thank fuck I'm here. Have you fucking bastards to give us a fucking an old cheering up or something? I don't fucking know. Give me something, people. Give me something. Who wants to come on? Get the fucking screen on. I'm going to drop the link in the description, but I'm going to invite a very special mate of mine. Warren's in the fucking house. Warren, are you sick?
Fuck, mate, I'm fuming. How can you, like, mate, I can't believe it. It's like this today was a perfect example why he's not the man for the job. Right? Now, the reason I'm saying that, yeah, we went to City, we had them, right, really on the edge. But, Del, that second half performance was shocking. It's like watching a League Two side playing away at a Premiership high flyer. That no attacking intent whatsoever, which isn't a surprise given that they messed up the transfer window. We've got no one in that team who's got any creative spark in them. So, because Odegaard went down, it's the one player in that starting 11 we couldn't afford to get injured. And he's gone. We've got no one who can come into the team and replace him. We had a fella. He went to Fulham. He scored and made an assist yesterday, I believe. And Reece Nelson was on top form. How is it possible that these two players, who are supposedly injury prone and not good enough for the club, can go there and start banging on and playing so well for under another manager? Don't make any sense to me. This manager's supposed to be the best manager in world football, and yet he can't even get a tune out of a player who's outperforming Bukayo Saka when he was playing for the previous manager. I'm sorry, mate. No, this guy, I've said it ever since he came here. Arsenal Football Club will never, ever win a major trophy all the time he's managing this club. Yeah, exactly. Ryan's 100% correct. And this indiscipline, we should have had 3 players now sent off in 3 games. It's shocking. Do you know what I mean? We should have had Rice sent off for stupidity, for kicking the ball away, which was pointless. He didn't need to do it. We had Timber should have been sent off against Spurs, and now that today. When you're on a yellow card, you need to be watching what you're doing. It's just ridiculous. It's fucking madness, and he's Arteta's inexperience, his arrogance, and stupidity coming to the fore again. I'm sorry, it's not acceptable. It isn't, and mate, sooner that man's out of this club, the better, because we ain't winning anything all the time he's here.
Yeah, look, you know, I don't understand, okay? And Mandy, I'll bring you in. Thanks for dropping in, mate. Like how it happened in such a small space of time, a month or whatever has gone, and kicking the ball away. And straight away, like, let's say a mate of mine sent me a picture of an Instagram thing, someone recorded it, and a Man City player done it. And like, that's fair enough. Like, you know, and I understand that. And I text him back and I says, yeah, like a Man City player kicked the ball away after the free kick, but you don't give a fucking referee an option to fucking book you. You know what I mean? Like, we learned the hard. I thought we did. We learned the hard way with the Declan Rice thing, and it fucking happened again. And it's not like you sort of go, And I'm going to hit in on him here because I love the player. I fucking love Trossard. I love him. But, he's an experienced player. He should fucking know better.
Yeah.
But in the Arsenal hat on, I'm sort of there, in the moment, because I played the game, I know, like, he went in, like, like that. And the whistle went, but he was sort of nearly halfway kicking the fucking ball by the time the whistle went. And I was there thinking, was it a bit harsh? Do you know what I mean? Like, Manny, what do you think the second yellow card for Trossard? Like, would you sort of agree with what I'm saying with the Arsenal hat on here? Sort of saying he was nearly like halfway to kicking the ball when the referee blew the whistle, or are you? No, he was stupid to do that.
First of all, Dale, Warren, good evening, gentlemen. Can you hear me clearly?
Loud and clear.
Well, the reason why I'm asking that question is because I don't know if you've noticed, but my PC is out of commission. So I'm actually speaking to you on my mobile phone. And the reason why I've got my camera off is because I don't want to run the risk of this, connection going completely away and me ending up having to drop in, out, and come back in. So far, so good. Knock on
we can hear you loud and clear.
And I'm going to say right now that Trossard was absolutely stupid, and he cost us those 2 points today. He didn't even learn from the Declan Rice incident. And Warren also got it absolutely spot on when he said that it's this level of indiscipline that will cost us, especially in games like this. I suppose the only good thing that would have come out of today is that we've been given a reminder that it's a sprint. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Although you could say it's a Snickers because marathon is no more. Cheeky food joke there. But knowing these AFTV morons, as we all do, they're going to talk about how the referee was against us. It was his mission, supposedly, to have us brought down to 9 men, and everything was completely against us. No. We did quite magnificently to recover from the first goal. Poor work from Gabriel and Saliba to leave that gap and allow Haaland to come through and score his 100th goal for Manchester City. Well done to him. But then we came back magnificently. We made Kyle Walker look like an absolute pensioner, not once, but twice. And everything was going so swimmingly, but then Trossard with that moment of stupidity. I'm sorry, those are the things, anyway, that end up deciding titles. And this is actually why, and Warren again is spot on, and this is why I love being on streams with him. He can be harsh sometimes, but he is spot on. He absolutely gets it right down to the matter. And this is why I have nothing but respect for him. He's said everything I would want to say, but his voice has a lot more resonance, I would say. So that indiscipline will cost us. And so we can't look at ourselves and say this is a hard luck story and we have more reason to be happy. No, we don't, because we made a conscious decision, at least Arteta made a conscious decision to pretty much park the bus, try and get, 9 men behind the ball because it was 9 outfielders and 1 goalkeeper we had left. And, oh yeah. I think that would be the other way around. The other way around.
Yeah.
His foot has to be removed from the telly. But you lose concentration at any given time, and you end up getting punished, and that's exactly what, City did. You do feel for David Raya because when John Stones scuffed that clearance, it hit him and went into the goal. Yeah. And Raya has literally been our best player this season, consistently our best player this season. And that should tell you something, really. It tells you that in as much as we've been having some good moments this season, so far we just haven't been able to truly be quite as consistent as you would want us to be. And yet people are going to look at this draw against City and the draw against Brighton and say, it's us against the world and, nobody wants us to win the league. Everyone's afraid of Arteta, blah, blah, blah. No, you control what you can control. And if you cannot control your emotions, if you cannot control your temperament, then I'm sorry, but you don't deserve to win anything. And it kind of reminds me of last season when we drew at the Etihad as well. And we, pretty much parked the bus there and didn't give City a chance to do anything. People were hailing that as an Arteta masterclass, but that was a weakened City team And many people, other people were saying, and I'm sure Warren was one of them, he was probably one of those people who was saying, no, that should have been an opportunity to try and win. And we ended up, not taking advantage of it. And that's how it proved, as we ended up losing to Aston Villa at home, and we ended up losing the title. The best teams demand more from themselves. We have to start demanding more from ourselves. And I'm also reminded, and I'm sorry for talking a mile a minute, but I know the show has to go on. I'm going to end this by quoting our wonderful mutual friend from the Antipodes, Steve-O, the Aussie Gooner. If we cannot take ourselves seriously, we have no business or any right to expect other people to take us seriously.
100%.
Yeah, it's like from last season, I was expecting lessons learned. Okay, if you're not going to win a league, you know what I mean. And today just sort of brought that back on. No fucking lessons learned. Like Trossard is a senior player to me. It'd be different if the young fella, your man Skelly, that young fella came on and done it. You'd go, right, young fella, 17 years of age. I understand that. But fuck me. And Warren, I said it to you when I was texting. I text Warren during the game, and it was like the players have an arrogance to sort of go, well, I'm not going to get booked. I don't deserve to get booked because I'm this and I'm that. And is that an Arteta factor? Is in the arrogance that sort of Arteta brings. You know what I mean?
And
we just need to wind it back in a minute and just play football, keep it fucking simple, and stop being a wanker. You know what I mean? It's frustrating. And to come to what Manny was saying there a few minutes ago, I personally think if Trossard stayed on, I think we would have won the game 3-1. I honestly do believe that because we were getting on top of them. We were doing well. We were doing our things in midfield. We were doing it right. And the sending off happened, and you're away to Man City, one of the best teams on the planet. You have to remember that. And I'm sort of going, right, I'm talking shite here, but I'm trying to, it was away at the Etihad. They haven't been beaten in there in years. You know what I mean? And is a point, would you have taken a point at the start of the game? I would have. It's just the way it happened. You know what I mean? At half time, the last few words that were said on Sky was Mika Richards, and he was there. Yeah, Man City will go on and win this game now, and that's probably their mentality. Like an ex-City player, we'll go on and win this game. So, are we being a bit harsh on Arsenal? Are we being a bit harsh on Arteta? Did he set the team up right in the second half? And Warren, I'm asking you this, and I'm asking the people in the chat, are we being a bit harsh on them? Because you were away in Man City.
No, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care who we're playing, right? Other teams have gone there and won. Crystal Palace have done it. Spurs have done it. They're not invincible, right? And they're not the only team we're going to play this season. Whether we win or lose at Man City isn't going to define whether or not we win a league title. What will define it is the games against the so-called littler tides, like your Brightons, your Ipswich, people like that. This is the problem. We seem to think that winning at Manchester City is the be-all and end-all of a league title success. If they'd won today, I can guarantee you all these fans would have been jumping up and down saying, yeah, that's it, we're going to win the league, we're going to win the league. Well, when did Brentford win the league title? When they went up there and won? No, they didn't. So for large parts of that game, like I said to you, Del Boy, and for most of this season, to be quite honest, we've been playing like a League Two side, playing away at a Premiership high flyer in the FA Cup third round, who have taken a shock early lead and are hanging on to keep the lead. It's not an indicator. The way they performed is not the way I would expect us. No, let me put it like this. Would you have expected Real Madrid to perform like that away at the Etihad? because they wouldn't have. They would have gone on the front foot and attacked them from the get-go. Yeah, we played better there in the first half than what we did last season, but there's nothing there for us to be scared of. We should be going there and going toe-to-toe with them. Do you know what I mean? And saying, right, this is our stall, this is what we're going to do. What are you going to do about it? And impose ourselves on them. And this indiscipline thing is going to really, really affect us. We've got no squad depth as it is. The last thing we need is to see players getting sent off from stupidness. Mate, I'm sorry, it's not acceptable. And this arrogance that you were talking about was spot on. And this all goes back to the manager. Like, the way he carries on and that touchline and whatnot, he seriously needs to rein it in. And if I was at the club, well, he wouldn't be at the club if I was managing the chief exec of that club, that's for sure. But if he was there, he would be, I'd tell him he has to go at the games, he has to be wearing a suit. Not turning a club official suit or the club shell suit or track suit or whatever. Not turning up wearing bloody Gucci and Armani clothes and stuff like that. Unshaven. I'm sorry, it's not acceptable. It isn't. This is Arsenal Football Club we're talking about. We're not talking about bloody, some village team playing in the FA Cup away at Manchester United or Liverpool in the third round. It's not acceptable, mate. These performances are not acceptable. We got away with one at Atalanta the other night. Same sort of thing, right? We got away with it at home against Brighton. We got away with it today. It's shocking. Mate, this, at some point this season, if we carry on like this, we're going to get an absolute doing. We really are. We're going to get really badly smashed. And God knows what will happen if we end up drawing Real Madrid in the Champions League.
Someone said there in the chat there, and they're 100% spot on. I forget who said it, but it's that will have hurt the players. 100%. That will have hurt the players.
Yeah.
I think we have Bolton, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in the Carabao Cup or something coming up during the week. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not 100%. I'm going to check it. Yeah, but like, I suppose it's next in the league as well. But while you were talking, it came into my head there, Warren. It's the Brighton game. It wouldn't be as hard for me if we won the Brighton game and we came, and I can't say, like, you don't go to your rivals and lose. You draw, you take the draw, and you get the fuck out of there. That's what Fergie done for years, and it worked. Mourinho done it as well. Wenger done it the odd time when we were good, but you don't lose to them. But we didn't lose to Man City today, but it's the Brighton game when we rewind back and you sit down and you have a time to think about the game, what happened today. It's the Brighton game that's hurting me now more because we're 2 points behind City. And a mate of mine, a Liverpool fan, texts me straight after the game. He goes, "I'm fucking gutted for you, Dale." And he goes, that game, not that it costs us a league, but he says it can. You'll be probably looking back at this game in May if you give them a run. If we lose by 2 points, like we did last season, to the league, you're going to look back at that game. If we held on another 2 minutes, you know what I mean. But then, Manny, I want to come to you with this and other people, because I do be thinking this shit. Like, did Arteta get it right with the second half, with the way he set up the players? We went 6 at the back and it was 3. Like, for me, I may be harsh on him, but Havertz, and I know he was out of position and stuff like that, and there was a stage where we were up in their box and Ederson had the ball. He turned his back and he was running towards our own goal and he didn't look behind him. And I'm like, should we not have a striker up there in case Ederson hits it to a defender, put pressure straight on the defender, and give them something to think about? I know we're defending for our lives, or do you keep a striker up there at the halfway line, or you know what I mean? If we get the ball, just hoof it up to him, and maybe he could do something. You know what? For me, and I may be fucking wrong here, it's only my opinion, I would have put Sterling in there. Just take him off, not at the second half, but I'm just saying into 70 minutes, 75 minutes, a bit of fresh legs, and just tell Sterling, pull up a small bit and get our defenders to just launch it for him and let him run onto something. It gives Man City, the likes of Diaz. If you're watching it on Sky, Jamie Carragher kept going on about Diaz. Diaz is the one on the edge of the box all day, and he's there trying to just feed it through to someone or take a shot, where it would have pulled him out of there, and you would have had that less bit of pressure. I don't know. That's just me thinking that. Manny, going back to my question, was Arteta's tactics right in the second half? Should we have soaked up the pressure like we did and hope to God we didn't concede? Or, what I was saying is just throw someone up forward and give them something to think about. What do you make of that, Manny?
Dal, let me just say this right now. You are absolutely correct. And in as much as people will will probably say that they don't like international football, you can learn a lot from international football, more than you would expect. The game I'm thinking of in question is an absolutely magnificent game played between Sweden and Trinidad and Tobago. That was in the group stage of the World Cup. Now, Trinidad and Tobago were sort of handicapped a little bit when they had lost their first choice goalkeeper in the warm-up, and so they had to bring on the former Newcastle, West Ham and Portsmouth veteran Shaka Hislop to come in and replace him. He went on to have a magnificent game, made 2 cracking saves in the first half as Sweden was starting to exert their influence. And let's not forget, our very own Freddie Ljungberg was in the Sweden team that day, along with Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Celtic legend Henrik Larsson, who I'm sure Warren will remember very fondly indeed. And early into the second half, the Trinidad left-back Avery John made a bit of a rash challenge. I say rash because, although he did get the ball first, it was a bit of a wild challenge, every bit like the challenge that Morgan Gibbs-White made on João Pedro in the earlier game, which ended up giving him a booking. And John ended up getting his second booking and was sent off. So Trinidad were down to 10 men. And of course, it was still goalless at the time, and everybody was saying that, Trinidad would suffer. Now, thanks mainly to Dwight York playing a new role as a sweeper, sort of a defensive midfielder / sweeper, what have you. And of course, Shaka Hislop, who should have been man of the match, pulled off 2 more cracking saves, another one from Ibrahimovic and the best one from Marcus Olbach. Went on to score a goalless draw. But what Leo Binhacker did was, as soon as Avery John was sent off, you would have expected him to go defensive, but what he did was he brought off the midfielder Colin Samuel and brought on the forward Cornell Glenn. And within minutes after, he came on, he ended up having a shot at goal that hit the bar, and Trinidad very nearly scored. They were, in fact, the closest to scoring that day. And that magnificent result is still very much regarded as a red letter day, but it's also proof that sometimes when you do go a man down, you sort of have the idea that if they're going to try to push themselves forward to try and score against you, they will leave gaps at the back. And that's what very nearly happened. Of course, Sweden didn't really concede too many chances after that, but Trinidad magnificently held on. So back to your question, yes, we should have considered putting someone up front because, there were even times, and big up to you, Oregon Goon, by the way, there were times actually in the late, close to the end, where we were starting to get into their half, and we were causing them a lot of defensive problems. And you just thought, yes, if you had someone on his own up front, it would have caused their defense all sorts of problems. It would have caused Ederson more than a few problems. And yes, we would have showed that we were willing to try to take the game to them. But once again, we went too defensive. And in as much as we defended magnificently throughout the half, we just knew that there was going to be a mistake made. There were going to be some tired legs. Some people would just drop dead. I mean, not drop dead literally, but completely drop. And it's proved. And, John Stones, he scuffed that shot. It went off Raya and into the goal. And you kind of feel for everything. But this just goes to show that you have to sort of blame Arteta for this, in addition to Trossard for the second half. Because in the first half, let me tell you, I thought tactically his lineup was really, really good. I didn't like the left wing, but he had a pretty decent game today. He was involved with quite a lot of stuff. And it was his assist, of course, for Calafiori's goal that really stood out for me. But I still believe he would be much better off as a centre forward than on the wing. And if I never see Jurrien Timber at left back again, it will be too soon. He belongs on the right. He's right-footed. That's where he belongs. I don't think Calafiori will ever compare to Kieran Tierney, but him over Zinchenko any day of the week and twice on a Sunday. But in the second half, we choked. We decided that we were not going to, try and take any kind of initiative. We weren't going to be imaginative enough to try to, break down their defense. And City have once again shown that they can be very vulnerable indeed. And we should have taken advantage of that. And I'm really glad you asked this question, Del, and I'm glad that Warren has said so, is also echoing my points, because, he said it perfectly. We should aim for more for ourselves. And I'm also going to close briefly with an example from Scottish football, which I think Warren will also appreciate. In 1967, the Scottish national team came to Wembley Stadium to play a match which was for the British Championship, but also a qualification match for the 1968 Euros. England, of course, were defending world champions. Now, that Scottish team had many fine players: Jim Baxter, Bobby Lennox, Jim McCalliog, John Gregg, Ronnie Simpson in goal, Dennis Law, of course, and several others. And they wanted to, show England what they were made of. And they beat England 3-2 at Wembley. They were taking the mickey afterwards, insulting all of them and saying, "You lot aren't good enough to be world champions. We're so much better than you," or something like that. And the attitude at the time was that because Scotland went to the home of the world champions and beat them, they have a right to call themselves the successors to the crown of being world champions, and we're so much better than them. But actually, it was a stupid way of thinking, because that Scottish team should have gone on to achieve a lot more than it did. But in that qualification campaign, they went on to miss out on qualifying for the Euros because they needed to beat England at Hampden Park, but they drew 1-1. And if Ronnie Simpson hadn't have saved that penalty kick, they'd have lost 2-1. So what was the use of it? Warren's spot on. What is the use of trying to go for these individual wins and say, everything's wonderful, we're such an amazing team, I'm so proud of us. And yet, at the end of the day, we end up with nothing. You can't win battles and celebrate winning battles if it means that you lose the war. So in the end, I hope I've addressed these 2 points. Yes, we did choke. Yes, Arteta got it wrong tactically in the second half. And Warren's also correct in saying we should never, ever, ever look to these individual battles and say, yes, we can be proud of ourselves. There are 38 games in a league season, not 5, and we need to continue to toughen up, stay humble, and remember, we are only as good as our next game. Hopefully this will make us stay humble. But again, as I said at the top of the show, we just know that some of our fans will do nothing of the sort.
Sorry, I was muted there. Brandon Owen, welcome you back, mate. It's great to see you. Love the hairstyle. Hope you're fed, you're watered. I'm gutted, you know what I mean? But I just want to bring up this comment here. And before I get you on, I actually want to do a show with me and you, to be honest with you, whenever you're free. So hit me up on Instagram or Twitter, whichever suits you. And we'll organise if you don't mind. But what Chris is saying here, and I'm just straight into the point, mate, because 2 things. I want to know your opinion, and me Guinness is low. So what has Trossard cost us?
100%. 100%. Look, you know my thoughts on the manager, the club, and all the rest of it. It's very similar to you guys, but I think it's very disingenuous to sit here today and say that Arsenal did not deserve to win that game, or Arteta got it tactically wrong, or anything like that. We was literally seconds seconds from coming away with the 3 points today, and we deserved to come away with the 3 points today. Now, there was two things that ruined that game. Anybody who sits there from now on and tells me that Michael Oliver is not on the fucking payroll at Manchester City, do yourself a favour. Give your head a wobble, will you? Yeah. Last season, this guy didn't want to send off Kovacic. He didn't want to send Kovacic off because it might ruin the game. Couldn't wait to send Trossard off today, though. Could not fucking wait, right? However, having said that, Trossard did cost us the game because he was very naive. He should already know that if you're an Arsenal player and you kick the ball away, you're very liable to receive a second yellow card, right? Other teams don't necessarily get treated like that. We've seen a number of teams kick the ball away this season and nobody has yet to receive a yellow card, apart from Arsenal, unfortunately. But knowing that and seeing that with your own eyes, that Declan Rice has already been sent off once this season for doing exactly that, he was a bit dumb in that scenario, in the fact that he should never have kicked the ball away. He should have realised, I'm on a yellow card. I don't want to risk getting a second yellow. You know, these referees are quite liable to send us off because that's just what they fucking do. You know, so for him to go and do that, I thought he was brain dead, to be honest with you. And yeah, it did cost us. It cost us massively. I think in the first half, we was good value for our 2-1 lead. You know, we went 1-0 down. Heads didn't drop, you know, which is something that we've seen from Arsenal in recent years, especially away to a big team like Man City. We go 1-0 down and we capitulate. This time around, I see a bit of fight. I see a bit of character. I see a bit of, you know, yeah, we're 1-0 down. Don't worry, boys. We can get back into this, right? Calafiori, what a finish, by the way. What a finish. That was a mirror image of William Saliba's goal against, I think it was Bournemouth, a couple of seasons ago when he first burst into the Arsenal team. You know, brilliant finish. And then obviously we know how dangerous we are from set pieces. You know, Gabriel demonstrated in the first half already before he scored that he was, you know, this close to scoring. And he's a danger. He's an absolute danger from them set pieces. And we go and get the second goal. Now, I think if 11 men remain on that pitch, I think we come away with 3 points today. I genuinely do. You know, I didn't see anything from me think, wow, you know, they're gonna absolutely tear us a new one today. You know, and even in the second half, we defended with 10 men for 45. Right, a lot of these guys that played for the second half as well only played 3 days ago in the Champions League away at Atalanta, and then 3 days previous to that away at Tottenham. Right, This is their third high intensity game in 6 days. Right, so the fact that they showed that level of concentration, moving left to right, left to right, left to right, you know, stepping out, blocking shots. It's hard work, boys. Trust me. I've played football. Yeah, I've played football at a decent level as well. When you're on the back foot and you're trying to defend, you know, and you're sitting 10 men behind the ball because, you know, the other team, the opposition's either just better than you or you just, you know, you haven't got enough men on the pitch to be able to do the damage, whatever. Right? It's hard work. When you haven't got that ball at your feet, yeah, your energy drains a lot quicker than what you do when you have got that ball at your feet. Trust me, right? So for them to show the character, for them to show the heart and the fight and, you know, the togetherness today, I'm proud of them. I really am proud of them. David Raya, right? David Raya has been Arsenal's best player this season. I think we can all sit there and say that. And he's pulled out some outstanding saves, right? But what really impressed me, and I think he was man of the match again for Arsenal today, right? What really impressed me today with him is sometimes when you're under that much pressure, you need your goalkeeper to relieve that pressure. You need your goalkeeper to come out and catch crosses, You know, go down with the ball, waste a bit of time. You know, do all of that. David Raya did it impeccably today, absolutely impeccably today, and he fully deserved Arsenal's man of the match reward for today's performance. Although, you know, I think there's a lot of players there that I can sit there and say, do you know what? You know, as a team performance, I thought this was brilliant. I thought it was absolutely exceptional. Yes, there were a little changes that Arteta could have made. You know, maybe we could have left somebody up top to try and, you know, hit them on the counter. But at the end of the day, this is the best team in the world in Manchester City. You know, if we take any sort of risk, and it could be like a minimal risk as well, we could end up going from 2-1 up to losing that game 4-2, you know, 5-2, you know, a cricket score in the end. Because as soon as you give these guys space, especially the players that can hurt you, you're in trouble. So the fact that we minimised that and we tried to, you know, at the end of the day, we was in the lead as well. It took them until literally the last seconds of the game to find a goal, which was, again, not a cleanly struck goal. It was extremely lucky, boys. Yeah, Manchester City were lucky today, and look at them. You know, they was all sat there last season saying Arsenal celebrating a draw at the Etihad. Look at them today, celebrating a fucking draw. Don't talk to me about mentality when you're celebrating a draw against a 10-man Arsenal team without Martin Odegaard and without players out injured. Did you see the state of our bench today? Look at how many young kids we had on that bench. Yeah? Look at that. We had nothing to come off that bench that could have changed the game in any shape or form. We brought on Jesus. I thought he did all right. I thought he did. He took the ball off Bernardo Silva, you know, really well a couple of times. Yes, we could have probably took off Martinelli and brought on Sterling instead, so that, you know, at least you've got that pace in behind when they go to a back three. And I think this is something that Mikel Arteta will maybe learn from, you know, as we get better players ourselves, because let's be on the same level as Manchester City. We're just not. Yeah, Man City have got quality beyond quality, beyond quality, beyond quality. Arsenal, right now, you know, I've always stressed at Arsenal about us showing a lack of fight, a lack of togetherness, a lack of, you know, this, that, and the other. And even last season was a similar thing. We bottled it in certain moments. Yeah, and I could sit here and say we bottled it in certain moments. But today, that was a performance from a team that is ready to win a league title. That is a performance today from a team without their captain that's played 3 tough away games in a row in 6 days, that are ready to fight for each other and win major honours. That is what I see today. If we can perform like that, amongst the controversy against the best team in the world, if we can pull out more performances like that and show that togetherness that we show today, which I didn't see last season, right, then I think we will win more games than not. And I think that could be the difference between us winning and not winning the league. You know, let's be real about it. Our transfer window was shit. We did not do enough in that transfer window, right? But right now, you have to credit the players. You have to credit the manager, because for as short as we are in certain positions, we've played Aston Villa away, we played Tottenham away, we played Man City away. 4 big away games, and we've come out with 7 points out of 9. I don't think that is half bad at all, boys. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
Brandon, last year we drew with City. the last year. Did we drew with City, didn't we? Yeah.
We did, but
Yeah.
definitely, listen, we did draw with City last season. That isn't what cost us the league last season. What cost us the league last season was losing to Aston Villa. What cost us the league last season was Mikel Arteta, after Zinchenko being out for so long, all of a sudden deciding, do you know what? This is a big game away at Aston Villa. Zinchenko, you ain't started for a while, son. Let's start you, even though you cost us the league, the season before, because you're just shocking at defending. Do you know what I mean? That wasn't the game that cost us the league title. People will sit there and say, oh, but if we won at the Etihad, at the end of the day, we took 4 points off of Manchester City last season. Yeah, that can't be sniffed at because they're the best in the country and arguably the best team in the world. And they're proving that by winning trophy after trophy after trophy, season in, season out, season in, season out, right? What cost us was West Ham, when we had 36 opportunities to score and we didn't score at all, and West Ham went and beat us. What cost was drawing against Fulham twice. What cost us was that Aston Villa game. It wasn't Man City away, to go there and get a point at the Etihad. Can't be sniffed at, boys. I'm not going to lie. There's not many people not many teams in this league that will go to the Etihad season and get anything. Trust me. Games, them three games there, the Fulham game, the Aston Villa game, and the West Ham game. Them are the games that I cannot afford to drop points in, which is why I was so fucking pissed earlier on in the season when we dropped points to Brighton. Because, we was down to 10 men. But Kai Havertz also had the opportunity to win us the game and he didn't take it. So they're the games that I look at. They're the games that are going to be the ones that's going to be the difference between us winning and not winning the league. Not these games against Man City. Because at the end of the day, if you look at City's record last season, right, they didn't beat. We took 4 points off them. Chelsea took 2 points off them because they drew with City at the Etihad and they drew with them at Stamford Bridge. Liverpool took 3 points off them. Man United was the only team, and I think Spurs as well, was the only two teams in the so-called top six that didn't take points off Man City last season, and City still won the league. So it's not the big games. Trust me, it's not the big games. It's the lower league teams that Arsenal need to brush. The Leicesters, the fucking Southamptons, and these teams are the ones that cost us the league, not Man City away at the Etihad. Trust me.
If you're new around here, please do hit the sub button. Please hit a like. Really appreciate it. I want to bring in this fella because I was talking to him during the game, and I'll look him here. I'll just hit him in. Kyle, you all right, buddy? Hope you're well.
Not too bad. Big up to you all. Great to see all the legends here on the screen and all the chat. Big up to you all.
I think Sky is after removing the Wi-Fi for Warren or for Kyle. I think he's gonna just explode. So the internet.
I'm here eating bacon. I'm eating my dinner here. Bacon can't be said the spoon style boy. Can't beat it, my friend. But come here to tell you. I'd just like to say it quickly there, boy. It's only going to be quick because I
think there's fucking spuds on his Wi-Fi.
Top Gooners have taken over his Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
What? In the internet. We were. I was heartbroken when City scored the equaliser because I thought, even though it was Stoke football, it wasn't present on the eye. It wasn't present on the eye, Del Boy. But look, we almost came out there with a 2-1 win. We were unlucky, and the woman is in here now after putting me off. But no, listen, we were unlucky today, Del Boy. I thought defensively we showed a lot of courage there in the second half. I know it was back to the wall. I know it wasn't a great viewing. You know, we weren't great, but we did what we had to try to do. With 10 men at the Etihad, the 2-2 draw is not bad. Are we going to win the Premier League? No. And I don't want to hear people say we lost at the Etihad. We did. We weren't losing the Etihad. We just lose it over the whole season, because I just feel that we're going to get caught that way. We're going to get caught. So, Lucas, I'm disappointed with today's result. I thought we fought hard, but at the end of the day, we just weren't good enough to get over the finish line. And that is Arsenal all over. Not good enough to get over that. When the finish line is in front of us, we just can't get over it. That's it.
Yeah.
I thought California's goal was outstanding.
Yeah.
It was a great strike. And I'm going to say something here, because I admit when I'm wrong. And I have been wrong on something that way. And I'd like to say it here tonight. I apologise to Ray. I think Ray has shown me that he's a top-class goalkeeper. So let's see how he goes on throughout the season. But so far, he's at the starting off top class. You can't fault him. But overall, that boy, I'm very sad that we drew 2-2. But look, it is what it is.
Come here. I know you're in a hurry and you're about to have your dinner and stuff like that, but I just want to say to you, I'm going down to the riverside around Christmas time, so we'll have to have a few of them. You know where I'm going.
At the moment, I'm drinking out Coke. But you let me know when you're at the riverside, and we'll definitely hook up, and we'll have a few drinks.
Put a bit of cream on top of that Coke.
Exactly.
Come here.
Well, listen, big up to you. I just wanted to come on there just for a second. I'll keep looking at the show while I'm eating my dinner. Big up to you all. Warren, Manny, big up to you, Brandon. Big up to you all. I'll talk to you later on. Listen, I'll tell you all something. Let's not get excited here. People saying that we could win the league title. We're not winning that, not this manager. Trust me.
Take care, bud. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you later, lads.
Thanks a million for coming on.
Not a bother.
There you have it. Warren, you have it there, fresh off the press. As Kyle always said, he said it this time last year, we're not winning the league, and he was fucking right. He tells me all the time, and I'm always being positive. I'm always trying to be, no, fuck off, Kyle. I want to, keep me positive head on me. Is this a dent in the road for us, or is it a good result? If you were the manager to try and pick them up, would you not just turn around and just go, lads, it's the Etihad. We brought them to 99 minutes or whatever the fuck it was in the end, winning. You know what I mean? How does Arteta pick the players up now?
Well, I don't think they should be down. If they are down, then I've got to question their mentality, because it's just the same as being 2-1 up at Ipswich and them equalising in the 70th minute. It's no different. Just because a team scores in the last minute, it doesn't mean anything. It's a goal that is scored in the last minute of a game of football is just as relevant as one that's scored in the 45th, the 65th, the 12th minute, whatever. I don't understand this mentality of saying, oh, we were unlucky because they scored in the last minute. No. It's about concentration and making sure you stay switched on for the whole game. Now, Del Boy, I know that you're a coach, and I'm pretty damn sure that when you're talking to your young fellas, when you're coaching them, when they go out into the pitch, you're telling them to stay switched on for the whole game and not think it's won before the referee blows the final whistle. You can't. I mean, years ago, I was managing a five-a-side team, right? We were in the semi-finals of the tournament. We were 2-1 down, and we equalised in the last minute of the game, right? But the referee disallowed it because he said that the goal was scored before after he'd blown the final whistle, and the ball entered the back of the net while he was blowing the whistle. I went mental. I went on the pitch and had a massive row with him and whatnot. But this is what I'm talking about. It's like this mentality of saying, oh, we were unlucky. I wasn't angry that we were unlucky. I was angry because I didn't think he was applying the rules of the game. Right? So, no, I think if he has got to spend time picking them players up after what they did today, then there's a question mark over their mentality, because for the first half, they played really well and they were the better team, definitely. Second half was a shit show. We should have gone on, and it shouldn't matter that we were down to 10 men, right? We should have gone and carried on taking the game to them like we did in the first half. We had no shots and no shots on target in the second half, right? It was like I thought I was watching the Scotland national team. Sort of performance we put on during the Euros. No shots on target. It's like Steve Clark masterclass. Do you know what I mean? It was shocking. Like going down to 10 men is an irrelevance. Like we just allowed them to steamroller us, and I think there's still a mentality issue, because you need to like be stronger than that. And I've seen lots of people in the chat going on, oh, the referees this, the referees that. The referee should be an irrelevance. You can't blame the referee, and I know that I just did. That's a different story. But you cannot blame the referee for what happened today. That is down to our mentality and the players' lack of discipline. It was like just as it was my lack of discipline in that semi-final match. I should have like taken it on the chin and said, okay. But do you know what I mean? It's just not acceptable just to like throw the towel in and say, oh yeah, it's the referee's fault. Or it's this fault. There's always an excuse as to why this happens or that happens. No, we need to take responsibility for our own performance.
Warren, can I just so what John is saying here? Like, are you blaming the manager? Like what way was he supposed to set up?
Would he go out and try and attack? We made no effort to go. Listen, Del Boy, to be honest with you, like that game wasn't a cup final, right? It was not a cup final. If it had been a cup final, my attitude might be slightly different in like so far as if you lose the game, you're going to lose the cup. Us beating City or not beating City isn't going to define whether or not we win the title. There were games, as that young fella that you had on just now, were going on about defeats against the smaller sides were the things that cost us, like against West Ham and against Villa and all the rest of it. Right? We collapsed, not last season, the season before, with about 10 games to go. We won about 2 games out of the last 10. That's what cost us the league title. And one of those was against Man City, I think. The rest of them were against other sides.
And like, see, I'm sorry to cut in on you, Warren, but it's what I said there earlier on. This game, like, obviously, I'm gutted that we drew it, like, you know what I mean, and to draw it the way we did, like, you know, but like, I know tomorrow when I'm sitting down and I'm working and I'm just thinking about the game, I'm going to be sick about the Brighton game. That's the thing that's fucking killing me already.
Yeah,
it's the Brighton game, and this is the Villa game last year. It's the Fulham game. These are the fucking games, and just because these games happen in September, it's still fucking the 2 points that we're missing out on. You know what I mean?
And that is the madness of our own making, because Declan Rice kicked the ball away 2 weeks before. A memo got sent out by the FA saying to clubs, if you delay the restart of the game, you will be shown a yellow card. He was already on a yellow card. So the referee had no choice but to send him off. So it was a shit show of our own making. And I know I've just said, you've got to ignore what the referee's doing and make it an irrelevance. But he made the job 10 times harder by doing that. stupidness.
Manny, are the referees being harsh on Arsenal? Are they, like, you know, I know that, like, as Warren says, they, like, everyone gets the memo, like, you know, every club gets it. But today we seen a Man City player for an Arsenal free kick, and he kicked the ball away, and nothing happened to him. Are you feeling sorry for yourself over referees? Are you feeling Arsenal just didn't learn their lesson?
Del, the day we start feeling sorry for ourselves and have this whole "it's us against the world" mentality, everything's against us, it's so unfair, that is when we've already lost. And you know, you've also got to evoke what Brian Clough said. You've got to control what you can control and make sure you play so well that the referee becomes an irrelevance. He doesn't have much of an effect on it. Now,
Exactly,
people are obviously going to
Billy.
say, you know, you mentioned how there was. What did you say, sir?
No, I just said it's exactly.
I didn't quite hear you. Thank you very much, Warren. Now, you can sit around here and say, you know, there was a City player who sort of kicked it away. I don't think, you know, he necessarily did too much to disrupt the flow of the game and, you know, delay the restart before that free kick, if anything. And also against Brighton, there was a case of a player after the ball was kicked out of play, he kicked it a little bit further. I'm pretty certain that didn't really, you know, delay the game too much, because more often than not, what happens is that whenever a ball goes out of play, there will be another ball, which is provided so that the throw-in can be taken fairly quickly. Maybe the referees applied some discretion. But again, you can't just have this sort of an attitude that, you know, it's not fair, we're not being treated fairly. And if people are going to have that sort of an attitude, then you've also got to consider the fact that, as Warren mentioned, Jurrien Timber was very lucky not to be sent off in the North London derby. So you're going to get some calls that go for you. You're going to get some that go against you. But again, you've got to make sure that the referee becomes an irrelevance. And I have to say right now that Brandon and I, and a lot of us, have normally agreed a great deal on many things. But for him to come along and say that we're being disrespectful for this team for, you know, conceding a last-minute equaliser, I'm sorry, but I can't agree with that. You know, it's not about being disrespectful. You know, we big ourselves up as this all-conquering team that's ready to win the league. We're the only team that's gone toe-to-toe with Manchester City, and we've got the sexiest, best young manager that we know. First of all, Cesc Fabregas is far better looking than he is. Best looking Spaniard, my backside. But you know, you can't just go ahead and have this sort of an attitude that we are the best and this is going to be our year, and then, you know, end up taking a look at this and saying, you know what, this is a hard luck story and we shouldn't be too down on ourselves. I mean, we can be proud of the first half display. I completely agree. We were as the better team. We made Kyle Walker look like the pensioner that he was, not once but twice. We, pardon me, I'm sorry, I'm having a bit of a bad cough, but we took advantage of their own lack of defensive discipline at times, and we made them look very ordinary. But then we just mucked it up. And I think there was also a comment that was mentioned by Darren. These games against the big teams can give you a little bit of an edge. So you have to look at it both ways, and you have to say that this was an opportunity missed. We missed out on this opportunity. If we had someone up top who would have taken advantage of any mistakes the City would have made, it potentially could have made a difference. That was why I mentioned the Sweden-Trinidad game in the World Cup. Bean Hacker very nearly pulled off a masterclass there. Of course, the game ended up being 0-0, but that was a disappointment for Sweden and a red letter day for Trinidad and Tobago. But again, it's another reminder that, as I said, it's a marathon. There are 38 games to play. And I agree with Warren that the players shouldn't be too down on this, because if they are completely down, need to have a pickup, then you do have to question their mentality. Of course, when John Stone scored that goal, obviously you could see the energy had literally been sapped from them, and that was perfectly understandable. But the best way to sort of recover from this is make sure you go out and smash Leicester City back at the Emirates. Take all your anger and frustration out on your next opponents. You're only as good as your next game. But without waffling on, let me say, no. I am not going to have this sort of a victim mentality which states that the referees are against us, everything's unfair. No. If you believe that you're the best, if you believe your own ability, if you believe you have a right to say, we are going to win it this year, do not blame anyone. Take responsibility for your own actions and control what you can control. Everything else will take care of themselves.
Yeah, you're right, Manny. Like what I always say to the kids that I coach, don't let the referee have to make a decision. You know what I mean? Don't do something stupid. You know, and they learn from it. You know what I mean? They always go in with that, right? If I throw this ball away, if the referee makes a decision, he's going to book me. They've brought the rule in now, especially an underage thing, is the referee will only speak to the captains and obviously the manager. You know, so if a young fella comes up and starts mounting to the referee, it's a straight yellow. You know what I mean? So I've drilled into the boys, right, you cannot do that. You can't kick a ball away. You know, and like I'm not... to be honest with you, for this game, I don't want to go too hard on Arteta because, you know, at the end of the day, and I suppose what we were all saying is, if we don't win the league this year, and that's, I'm not saying that we should have a right to even go and challenge for the league, but I'm just saying if it comes down to it, it's not this game. It's not this Man City game getting a draw in the Etihad. Fergie would have taken a draw today. You know, Arsene Wenger would have taken a draw today. Mourinho, Guardiola himself would have taken a draw if it was in the Emirates. You know, it's the Brighton game. You know what I mean? We're 2 points behind them. And it's because of this. We need to be fucking disciplined. We need to keep... we have the talent there. We just need to keep fucking playing and playing. Don't give referees these stupid fucking decisions. You know, like it is sickening. It hurts me. It does hurt me. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but you know, we just have to move on. It's the next game that comes up. We're going to have to just, what Mane says there, we're going to have to absolutely slap them around and show them that that game against Man City did not hurt us. It didn't put us down. Just go win your next 2-3 games and win them good and win them convincingly and say, yeah, we're here today. We're here to stay, you know, at the top of the league. I'm going to wrap it up there because I have to go in and in about an hour's time make love to my beautiful wife. But Warren, Warren, Manny, please give your shout outs. Warren, I'll go to you first.
Too much information, sir. Too much information.
I know, yeah. It's just, you know what I mean. She knows I'm stressed out. She knows Del Boy needs a, you know, I'll leave it there, you know yourself. But Warren, give a shout out to your channel and what you have coming up, mate. And please, before anyone leaves, please do hit a like. I'm 10 or something away from the 1K mark. Please get me there. I've been fucking hanging around this mark for fucking ages. I'm like a bad bleeding smell. But I'd really appreciate if I could. But Warren, give us a shout out to your channel, mate, please.
Well, first of all, Delboy, I just want to say thank you very much for letting me come on. Second thing I want to say is, please, people, if you're going to do one thing today, please make sure you subscribe to Del's channel. Get him over that magical 1,000 mark, please. The man deserves it. He's an absolute legend. Second thing I want to say is about this. I think there's a problem with the mentality. I've said it before tonight. I think the last thing I'm going to say about this is there's a mentality problem at the club. We should be going into an arrogance attitude. We should be going into this every single game with the same mentality, no matter who we play, whether it's Manchester City away at the Etihad, Ipswich Town at home in the Premier League, whether it's some like Sid Fisher's chip shop from Egham or whatever at home in the FA Cup, whatever it is, we should be treating them all with the same respect, because the minute you stop doing that, that's when you're going to come unstuck and lose, right? So make sure we keep focused and keep on performing to the highest possible level and don't switch off for 1 minute, right? And think the game's won, because that's when you lose. And that's why I think there's a mentality problem, because blaming referees, blaming players, blaming this, blaming that, it's all an irrelevance. Just focus on your own performance and make sure you're doing your job, and it'll be fine. But this business, it needs to stop. And I know AFTV are very fond of blaming referees and getting stuck into Manny's 100% right. Banging on going on that drum about making referees an irrelevance. So he's right, and I agree with him about that. So yeah, you can find me on Warren's Team Talk. You'll probably see me in the chat on Off the Ball as well now and again, causing an absolute stir. So yeah, you can find me on Warren's Team Talk on YouTube, Instagram, and X. And and what have I got coming up? I've got a stream coming up soon, probably a big one that's going to be during the next international break, when I'm going to be looking with Dale and a couple of other fellas about whether and what's happened with the Irish national team, and whether or not they're moving forward or not since John Delaney left the building back in 2019. So that'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to that. I've started working on that. So that's it. So yeah, Delv, thanks very much for having me on. It was a great chat, and we'll talk soon, mate.
Thanks a million, mate. Thanks very much. I really appreciate you coming on. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it's you, it's Manny, it's Brandon, it's Kyle Walsh, and it's the people in the chat as well. Like, you know, that this is the reason why I was doing it. Like, you know, and I sent a text to Warren earlier on. I says, if we win, I'm doing a live stream, as in, like, because, you know, I want to, you know what I mean? As in, like, you know, because of being a good humor, but it's, you know, it's about getting your opinion, if it's in the chat, if it's coming on, you know, stuff like that. And this is why I do it. I love hearing opinions. I just sit back here and ask questions that I'm interested in hearing. I'm interested in hearing what Warren has to think about this, or Mane, or Brandon, or you guys in the chat. And this is the reason why I'm doing it. It's not like, you know, to fucking have an ego thing of, oh, I've 1,000 subscribers or whatever bollocks like that. Like, you know what I mean? I just find you guys interesting, and it's like therapeutical. Like, you know what I mean? If that sounds weird or whatever, you know what I mean? But please do, if you're new, hit the sub, hit the like button. But Manny, please do give us a shout out to your socials and everything else.
Yeah, well, first of all, Del Boy, thank you very much indeed for doing this at such short notice. And yeah, it is therapeutic listening to those beautiful Irish dulcet tones of yours. And no channel of my own, but obviously you can catch me over here on Del Boy Gunner TV. And huge shout out as well to Warren as well. Do catch the interview that I did with him, where we were talking for a rather long time about my life as a football fan. I always love being on a stream with Warren and being on his channel and doing that interview. That Memories from the Football Terrace podcast was wonderful. Also catch me on several other channels like the Coach's Corner, Oris Talks Football, Up the Cherries in All Departments. We have a new football show called This Is Football, where we talk about a lot of the issues of the day affecting the game as it is. And also Huddersfield Town Fan TV, Ridge Sports, Football United, Gundown UK, Southern Gooner, Spurs U Asia TV. also big up to Mr. B, Talks England Cricket, and also Mr. B, The Buzz, the Hive of Football Chat, and several other channels that I don't know if I can name, because as you can possibly hear, I've got a cough that's sort of affecting me, but I'm glad I was able to come on today, and I do apologize for the rather the roughness in my own voice and the persistent coughing. I do apologize for that. But it was good to come on and let off some steam and have a much more pleasant chat than otherwise would normally be expected. We can be proud of the first half performance, but the second half performance was where we lost it. And we have to be, honest with ourselves and say, we have to demand better from ourselves. We have to take ourselves a little bit more seriously. And when we do that, then we can definitely call ourselves title challengers, and then other teams will start to take us seriously. And all I can say is roll on Leicester City at the Emirates. Let's hunt those foxes down and score more than a few past them. And nothing much else to say, except also do catch me on Instagram at MannyPangatherai1981 and Twitter at Pangatherai1981. And to all of my friends who might be watching this on playback, please give Del Boy the help he needs to get to that 1,000 mark. He definitely deserves it. My first real foray into YouTube. Always my first, my last, my everything. And anytime I can come on, if he wants me to come on, no second invitation required, no questions asked. I'm always here for him. And take care. God bless each and every one of you. Have yourselves a good upcoming week. And as always, up the Gunners. Let's try and keep some.
Thanks a million, Manny. Really appreciate it. And Marlon as well, and Brandon and Kyle as well, and everyone in the chat, and anyone who liked the stream. Really do appreciate it. 2-2. Look, Gunners, I suppose I'm talking to here. Don't be down on yourself. Don't feel, it was 2 points lost. Alex Ferguson, the great manager, would have taken 2 points off, or would have taken the draw today, definitely off Man City. You don't lose to them. It's just about what we do next. We go out, we get our 3 points in the next Premier League game. That's the most important thing, So I suppose let's stick behind the team. Let's go for it. You know what I mean? I want to be up there. I want to be on the dance floor towards the end of the season. Let's hope we do. Let's hope we learn from our mistakes. 2 mistakes we made this season. That's 2 points per game. That's 4 points we've dropped by mistakes. Let's get that into training. Let's get these fucking mistakes out of our head. Until the next time, I'll probably be doing a stream on Tuesday or something. I'm going to hit Brandon up because I want to have a good chat with him. I might try to do that on Tuesday or Thursday or something like that. But keep the notifications on. Mrs. Delboy has the red panties on. I have to leg it. But anyway, take care, everyone. Bless you all. And thanks a million for coming on and liking the stream. Please do subscribe if you don't mind. Take care and God